So the Steelers are now 8-2 on the season, and they are currently the number 3 seed in the AFC, sitting behind the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I do believe that they are major contenders in the NFL. I'm going to tell you why. I understand they had an ugly game against the Baltimore Ravens, but they still won that matchup. We could talk about the missed kicks that Justin Tucker had. If we want to play hypotheticals, we can also talk about the interception that Russell Wilson threw and say, hey, what happens if he doesn't throw an interception? You see how hypotheticals work? Not too many people want to talk about that. At the end of the day, the Steelers won the game. They did not score an offensive touchdown. The offense is going to have to be better moving forward. But the offense has been better underneath Russell Wilson. And let's not act like the Steelers have went out there and just defeated bad football teams over and over again. Apparently, the true test was last week against the Washington Commanders. But a lot of people in the national media and a lot of haters said, hey, they went against a rookie quarterback. So what did they do this week? They went against a top team in the NFL, a top team in the AFC. And their defense went out there and they completely dominated. They forced Derrick Henry to fumble the football in a very long time. They forced Lamar Jackson off his spot. And they had a lot of good plays in that matchup with their defense alone. But I want to talk about Russell Wilson first, because when you look at Russell Wilson, he's not the same quarterback that he once was with the Seattle Seahawks, but he doesn't need to be. 6 passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions, and they're undefeated underneath him. They are 4-0 since he's been the starter. And I don't expect for them to go undefeated for the rest of the season. They're going to have some slip-ups. And guess what? That's still okay. I'm going to keep the same argument as long as the team can stay relatively healthy. Russell Wilson has been a very good starting option for the Steelers in every single game. Even against the Baltimore Ravens, he put the football in harm's way once. That was it in the red zone. And he usually does not do that. That's very rare for him to go out there, run around, and just trying to make a play. He got frustrated. He was trying to target Darnell Washington. You had to put the football down just a little bit lower, but he overthrew Darnell Washington because he's a huge target. And Marlon Humphrey comes away with an interception. But they have the defense that they have. You can get away with plays like that. Against the Washington Commanders, he had 3 passing touchdowns in that matchup. He was 14 of 28, 195 passing yards. My few critiques with the offense is this. They take too many deep shots down the field, which is a good thing and a bad thing because you're using George Pickens. George Pickens is a top wide receiver to have. He was a top wide receiver last season playing with Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, and Mitch Trubisky. The problem is this. They're one-dimensional at times. They call it the moon ball when he throws a football deep down the field and only George Pickens can get it because his deep ball is so insane in terms of accuracy. But they need to deviate away from that. And if you want to continue to go out there and use that type of offense, that's fine. Not too many teams can go out there and stop it right now because they try to put a single high safety over top and Russell Wilson still splits the defenders. But give Mike Williams more playing time. You didn't make the trade for nothing. Mike Williams is not the same wide receiver he once was with the Los Angeles Chargers, but he's better than Van Jefferson. Personally, I don't like Van Jefferson on the field that much. He has a lot of major drops and he struggles to separate. Mike Williams may struggle to separate, but he's a 50-50 type of wide receiver. Those are the type of wide receivers that Russell Wilson loves. He has a great rapport with George Pickens. He had a phenomenal rapport with DK Metcalf. He likes bigger wide receivers and with Cortland Sutton last season with the Denver Broncos. So when you look at Russell Wilson, you have a guy in Mike Williams, can take the top off the defense, can get behind cornerbacks. And even when he can't just go out there and fully separate, he's a phenomenal 50-50 ball receiver. You have George Pickens, put those guys on the outside. Then you have another wide receiver in Calvin Austin III who has had a punt return and has been very good here and there. He's not consistent on a week-to-week basis, but that's okay. When he's hot, he's hot. Use him underneath. They need to take more underneath shots. They're trying to take too many deep shots with Russell Wilson. I like it when it works, but they're doing it just a little bit too much. You have a very good rushing attack with Najee Harris and with Jaylen Warren. And the running game has opened up underneath Russell Wilson because now you can't stack the box. You could do that with Justin Fields at times. He's a more athletic quarterback. But the thing is with Russell Wilson, he's such a dynamic passer at times to where you have to space out and you have to play single high safety. You have to play that look against the Steelers. And now teams have started to try to do that. The Commanders did that. They tried to take the deep bomb away. They put in Mike Williams late in the game. That essentially gave them the winning touchdown, the game-winning touchdown. And you have Big Pat at the tight end spot. The rushing game can be better. Najee Harris is a very good running back, 4 yards a carry on the season. The last couple games have not been pretty underneath him because he did have 3 games in a row with over 100 yards rushing. But 708 rushing yards on the season, 3 rushing touchdowns. You have Jaylen Warren, who has missed time, especially coming off the injury they had in the preseason. But we know that he's a very fast running back. He offers a lot of juice. He just has to take care of the football. He had a fumble on the 1-yard line against the Commanders. And speaking of that, a lot of these games should not be close. Against the New York Giants, they did have a beautiful punt return by Calvin Austin III. He had the receiving touchdown in that matchup. It was 2 times to where the Steelers had touchdown opportunities. The first one, George Pickens in the red zone. He gets a touchdown. Broderick Jones, face mask, they call it back. I will have a lot to say about Broderick Jones in the next couple minutes. Just stay with me. Then another play in the first half. George Pickens gets his feet down twice. Gets his right foot down. Double tap. They call it back. That's potential 14 points. They will go out there and they will blow out the New York Giants in that affair. Against the Washington Commanders, fumble on the 1-yard line by Jaylen Warren. And they were phenomenal in the red zone in that matchup. And you also had a fake punt that put the Commanders right in scoring distance on this defense. You don't want to see that. So I'm telling you, they're just a couple plays away from going out there and dominating the Giants and the Washington Commanders. And they had a lot of miscues against the Ravens as well in the red zone. So if you want to play the hypothetical game and say the Ravens beat themselves, no, they didn't. The Ravens did not. The Steelers defense went out there. They knocked Lamar Jackson off his spot. They came away with some costly turnovers on Derrick Henry, and they came away with a clutch interception by Peyton Wilson. If they were able to go out there and cash in the red zone, they will block the Baltimore Ravens. I'm telling you, this team is legit. The offense doesn't have to go out there and score 30 points every single week because of how dominant their special teams is and because of how dominant their defense is and their pass rushing ability with TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith when he's fully healthy. But when I look at the offense, it's far from perfect, but I believe that it's good enough. And when I look at the offensive line, Zach Frazier has been amazing. Phenomenal center. Nate Herbig will never get that job back as long as Zach Frazier is fully healthy. And Nate Herbig, by the way, is still in IR, dealing with a torn rotator cuff injury. Mason McCormick has been phenomenal at the right guard position. James Daniels, before he got injured, was a top guard in the NFL. He tore his Achilles against the Indianapolis Colts. They may not bring him back next season. I would love to see that happen, but that's for an offseason video. Broderick Jones. He's not even supposed to be in this spot. He's a starting right tackle, easily the worst offensive lineman. He's a penalty machine, and he's just not good. He looks like a bust right now. I understand he did not play that much at Georgia in college at the tackle position. This is what I would say about Broderick Jones. It's the holding penalties, and it's the face mask penalties. He is a penalty machine. And Russell Wilson was getting sacked majority of the time against the Ravens off his side. Majority of the pressures are coming off of Broderick Jones. I wish they had a guy that they could bring in at that spot, but unfortunately, he's the best that they have unless they want to bring in Calvin Anderson. Even though Broderick Jones is bad, he's not as bad as Calvin Anderson. But Broderick Jones has to be better moving forward. He's costing them a lot of points off the boards, and he's costing them first downs. You do not want to see this from a first-round pick from a year ago. He has to be better. There's no excuses for this. But when I look at the offense, they have the pieces, play Mike Williams more. And when I look at Justin Fields, there is still a role for Justin Fields with the Steelers. You may call me crazy. Look at what they did against the Ravens. They subbed him in late in that matchup. Go out there, run for a first down. Even though he slid right before the first down marker, he did help them get a first down and ice out the game. That's what you want to see. Use Justin Fields more. I hate the saying, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. A lot of analysts and a lot of people may take that out of context. You know for a fact that Russell Wilson going to go out there, he's going to throw the football over 30 times in the game. It's not ideal, but that's what he's going to do. He's a better passer right now than Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a better athlete than Russell Wilson at this stage of his career. And Justin Fields can throw. He doesn't have the same accuracy as Russ. But in short yardage situations, when it's a 3rd and 2 or a 3rd and 4, you may want to hand the football off to Najee Harris. They're going to stack the box because they know Russell Wilson is not a rushing threat anymore. Justin Fields is a dynamic runner. Now, you can run a nasty RPO with him and with George Pickens coming over the top and with Calvin Austin III going to the outside and with Big Pat out there. And you may go into a situation where Justin Fields keeps the football and he runs off for 15 yards. Use him more in those situations. When it's 4th and 1, Russell Wilson doesn't have the muscle behind him like Justin Fields. And Russell Wilson has a lot of muscle to him. Justin Fields is just bigger. Run a QB sneak with him. Let him go out there and let him be able to run the football. And on 2nd down, if you're in a tough situation, go out there and let Justin Fields throw the football around. It's okay to do that. I'm not saying flip back to Justin Fields, but use him in certain packages. The red zone offense, when they're struggling, put in Justin Fields, run quarterback power. We've seen Greg Roman do this with Justin Herbert. We've seen other teams do this with their starting quarterbacks. Russell Wilson just does not have the capability that he once had. I look at Justin Fields with that athletic ability, put him in the game. And I love what Arthur Smith did, by the way. And I would give Coach Tomlin a lot of credit. I've given him a lot of flack in the past because he hired Randy Fichtner. He hired Matt Canada. Arthur Smith is not even close to being one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. But guess what? He's miles ahead of both of them. And he's found a way to go out there and put a lot of life into the offense. It's not perfect. They're 26 in passing offense. I fully understand that. But guess what? As the weather gets colder, we get later in the season, you're going to have to run the football. That's the one thing the Steelers can do. They can run the football, and they're very good on situational downs. And this is one of the best coaching jobs that Coach Tomlin has done in his career. If it's ever a time for him to win Coach of the Year, this would be it. With the team that he has helped assemble and the close games that they have been in, and they find ways to win the games. Another thing I would give Coach Tomlin a lot of credit for. They're not playing down the competition. They would do that in the past. They're not doing that this season. They're taking care of business. Usually in the past, they would lose against teams like the New York Giants. They'll go out there against a team like the New York Jets and possibly lose. They decimated the New York Jets, by the way. And when I look at the defense, where do I get started? One of the best defenses in the NFL, TJ Watt, 7.5 sacks on the season. That is a very low number for him. That is just how great he is. And he gets held a lot. Him and Nick Bosa in particular, both of those pass rushers, I don't know what the referees are not seeing, especially with TJ Watt. It's a lot of times he's just getting held and the referees just don't call it. But 7.5 sacks on the season, 4 forced fumbles. The forced fumbles are helping the Steelers out a lot because it's putting the football right back into the Steelers offense's hands like how it did against the Ravens. So it doubles your time in possession. Alex Highsmith has dealt with a groin injury. Right now he's dealing with a sprained ankle. Highsmith is a very good pass rusher, but even without him, they have Herbig, who can come around. He's the brother of the center. He can come around and make a lot of big plays. He made a huge play in the Ravens matchup yesterday, and it basically blew up the 2-point conversion play. That was a crucial play because the Ravens get the 2-point conversion, they tie the game up. He stopped them from doing that. Shout out to him. And he comes off the edge like a madman. You look at Preston Smith. Preston Smith is a very good pass rusher. He's a veteran to have. The trades that they made the trade deadline to bring in a veteran in Mike Williams, to bring in a veteran in Preston Smith, just in case the receiver goes down, you put in Mike Williams. Mike Williams should be a starter, by the way. But if one of the pass rushers go down in Alex Highsmith, unfortunately that did happen. You have Herbig. You also have Preston Smith. So you bring one of those pass rushers in, veteran experience with Preston Smith. He can come off the edge, stop the run, seal the edge, and can go get to the quarterback. You have Cameron Hayward, who's been phenomenal all season long as a pass rusher and as a run stopper. You have Keanu Ben, who continues to develop over time. The linebackers are very good. This was Achilles' heel last season. Besides the quarterback position, they had linebackers out there like Miles Jack towards the end of the season because they were dealing with so many injuries. When Cole Holcomb got injured, and by the way, Cole Holcomb may not even play this season. He's still on IR, dealing with the recovery from the knee injury that he suffered. But you bring in Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen, for the first 3 to 4 weeks of the season, he was not good. The last few games, he's been better. Especially against the Baltimore Ravens, he was out there flying across the field. You have a Landon Roberts. You have Peyton Wilson. Peyton Wilson is phenomenal. Had a great play against the Ravens that went for a clutch interception on the running back. The defense is phenomenal in that front seven. On the back end, you have Mika Fitzpatrick single high. He does not have an interception this season. That's okay because quarterbacks don't test him. Joy Porter Jr., he continues to get better. He is starting to become a true number 1 cornerback. He'll have some plays where he give up a lot of big plays, like how he did against Terry McLaurin. Then the next thing you know, in short yardage situations, especially in the goal line, is going to be held to score on him because of the long arms that he have and the big frame that he has. You look at Dante Jackson. The Steelers won that trade. Deontay Johnson is not even with the Carolina Panthers anymore. He's now with the Baltimore Ravens. And he's finding a hard way to find his way on the field with the Ravens. And he had a major drop in the red zone. Benny Bishop has been phenomenal in the secondary as a rookie, an undrafted rookie at that. This is a man that had 2 interceptions against the New York Jets and had a very good outing against the New York Giants. The Steelers have everything that you want in a major contender. They have a veteran quarterback that has been to 2 Super Bowls. He's far from that that he's far from that quarterback that he once was. But guess what? He's not a bad quarterback to have. He would take care of the football. The last 2 weeks, he's had an interception. He had an interception to watch the Commanders stop taking so many deep shots down the field. You won't worry about that. And in the red zone, it's just a bad decision by Russ, which is very rare. The one sprint with Russell Wilson, he could put the football in the red zone. You have a dominant rushing attack with Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. Cordell Patterson is a Swiss Army knife. You have two big body wide receivers. One that is an aging wide receiver and Mike Williams. But you also look at George Pickens. Phenomenal. Since he's been playing with Russell Wilson, he's been fully unlocked. He's playing like a top 5 wide receiver. You have an offensive line. They'll give up a couple of pressures here and there. But when you look at them, they're solid enough. And they're not even 100% healthy. But this defense and the special teams, getting punt returns, putting the offense into good situations, finding ways to go out there and block kicks. Shout out to the special teams coach. The Steelers are an elite contender in the AFC. You could talk about how these teams beat themselves. How about you look at it from this point of view? The Steelers go out there and they make you play their brand of football. They take the run game away. They pin their ears back. They get to the quarterback and they run the football down your throat on a repeated basis. And they make Russell Wilson be this game manager. And it's hard to get them off the field. I would like to see them use Justin Fields a little bit more in tight situations. But the Steelers right now, they are an elite team. They're 8-2. There are only 2 losses against the Indianapolis Colts and against the Dallas Cowboys. And they had 3 takeaways against the Cowboys. They just could not score in the red zone. I guarantee you if Russell Wilson was playing in that matchup, we're talking about a different story here. And then against the Indianapolis Colts, the defense went out there. They did not have their best day. And they were still making the comeback in that matchup. Against the Washington Commanders, they were down by 10 at halftime. They came back and they won that encounter. It's just the crucial plays. And those little details come down to coaching. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you guys feel about the Steelers and are they a true contender in the AFC? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.